It's time to give your speaking engagement. What's the first thing you think about when they say, "It's time for you to speak"? What happens to you? I have special guests with me today, and I want them to tell you what they do when it's time to give the speaking engagement. So grab your notes. Let's tune in. So, do you feel like you are going to die when it's time for you to speak in public? We are here to talk about it. My name is Diana Patton. I'm your authentic power strategist, and I have the amazing Hallie, who is my mentee, who is a former University of Toledo basketball player, a former Boston, all the things. She's here to share a little bit about herself, and Yanaya, who is here as my mentee as well. And we're going to talk to you about speaking in public. Now, I want to share with you a first thing I want to talk to y'all about because I believe that we are not here to perform. We are here to share something that is uniquely ours, and it's our gift. If you've been on this page long enough, you know we talk about your authentic power. I believe that your authentic power equals your wealth. Now, you gotta go to a different podcast to listen to about what wealth means. But we're gonna dive into this because if there's one thing that I share with my amazing mentees is that they are a gift. They have something within them to pour into others. So we're going to start this off. This is going to be a little casual dialogue. We're going to talk real easy. What's the first thing you think about when someone says it's time for you to speak in public? All right. What's the first thing you think about? All right. You go first.
I'll just say like delivery, getting someone else to understand what I'm trying to say or introduce to them. And at first, it used to be like nervousness. It was like, what if they don't understand me? Or it's just a lot of what ifs, but I can't control the outcome either way it goes. So I'll say delivery, and it used to be nervousness, but mostly delivery.
Okay. Tell the people who you are.
My name is Hallie Edu. Um, I would like to say I am. Wait, like, what do you mean? Just what?
Share you. Feel like want to say whatever you want to say, right?
Usually, I used to introduce myself as like an athlete first, and I say like I'm a mental health advocate. But I'm not a just certificate or anything for it. I'm just
You don't even need to say. You are the certificate. Come on now.
I'm really big on mental health just because of like my past and just my degree. My undergrad has been human services, and I'm working on my master's in health administration. So it's that. Um, And being an athlete, I am an athlete. I will be a pro athlete very soon once I skate overseas. So like I think I have a lot of things. But I think first, um, child of God and just who I am as a person. I just think I'm very
Amazing. Unique.
just very unique. I can't put everything I am into this video, but that's all very unique and yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Okay. You know.
Um, I'm Yanaya Curry. Hallie and I played basketball together at the University of Toledo, where we met our amazing mentor Diana. By the grace of God. A little bit about me. I also would always introduce myself as an athlete. I think that's just very much an athlete thing. But then having graduated and leaving the sport now, it's like you're kind of rebranding yourself and kind of finding who you are outside of that. Most and foremost, I'm a child of God as well. Um, let's see. Yeah, it is like a broad question that when you throw the spot, it's like, well, who am I? um, let's see. I don't know. I'm very passionate about a lot of different things. I love people. Um, I'm passionate about like relationships, building relationships, health and fitness, life, exploring, and just living day to day, staying in the present. And that's me.
Tell me, what is it speaking?
Speaking. Okay, what was the question?
How do you feel when someone tells you that you got to speak in public?
I'd be like, oh my gosh. That's the feeling I get. But then I think for at least for me, and I think probably for you too, Hallie, being in the world of sports for so long, you're kind of trained to be able to speak on, like, different stages or in front of, like, different crowds. Not that it's ever something like, I'm not the type of person that would be like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, hey, put me out there. Let me speak." You know, I'll do a little dancey dance in front of the crowd, but speaking, I'm like, "Okay." But, also, I feel like when you are just kinda leading and just talking, like you're talking to anyone, just being yourself, it kind of flows naturally rather than taking on the pressure to be anything or say anything magnificent.
Mm.
Like, I don't really do that, so it's just kinda like it's the initial, like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I guess I gotta do this," and then it's like, "Alright," like, take a deep breath and then speak.
Yeah. Okay, question. Why do you think I always gotta check the green light. Why do you think people do that? Why do you think people start to they initially go, "Oh, uh, what's inside of that? What is inside of that? Let's break that down. What do you think is inside of people?" Because that's the number one thing people are afraid to do is to speak in public. So what's that first inside feeling?
I would say from personal experience, it'll be doubt. You don't wanna say the wrong thing, but there is a lot of wrong things. So it's just like putting that doubt in your head, that is the biggest, like, it can be the biggest critic, but, like, I don't know, just doubt. You don't wanna be wrong, you don't wanna get your fingers pointed at, you don't want that's a fear. So I just think it's that, like, I shouldn't say that because like, it's doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, big on that. I would say because when you're saying that, I have the exact same emotion whenever, like, it's first in the moment, but then I train myself to kinda, like, override that fear, and I think that's what it is, like, that's totally normal to feel that, like, the initial rush and, like, the clench in your chest is like, "Freak, like,
Mhm.
I gotta say something," but then it's like, what do you do after that? Like, you can sit in it, or it's like, you take your deep breath, and then you, like, override that fear, but I feel like it's just that it is the natural fear and, like, resistance that builds up in us when you're having to do something that maybe you don't feel either the most qualified to do or talk or speak on or just present.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
So there were a couple of things you mentioned. All right. So this is what I love. I love to speak in public. One of the things that we're working on, and this is in our Rise 53 Inner Circle, which we hope that you will take the time to learn more about. We'll share more at the end of the video. But in this circle, we're talking about and this is by the a group of people who really want to rise. And so we're working this week on a mini TED Talk, right? And y'all don't know this, but Yanaya is my communications director. She's the one who writes all of these amazing emails that you need to subscribe to. But yeah, so we are working on this. And the first thing we want people to understand is that we're not about perfectionism. But the one thing that you said, practice, right? Because we're all about here in this community about practicing. So I'm going to tell you the first thing that I realized when I started having those doubt feelings, you know what I started doing? I started thinking, these people are just like me. That was and I normalized it. So for me, because I'm normally, and when I first meet people, I think about when I first meet, what do I do when I first meet people, right? One on one. The first what would you now that go what would you say the first time I meet people? How would I approach them? You tell me now.
She'd be like, first off, she would have this big old smile just from she'll be across the whole room, see a little stranger just and then she's like, "Hey!"
That's right. Is your picture here? Okay, so that's exactly what I want you to think about. What's the first thing you would do when you would greet someone? So, because then when I go on stage, how I go on stage, I always go, "Hey y'all, how you doing?" That's the first thing I do. So that's a pro tip. If you watch some speakers, they always come on stage just like casual, right? Okay, so what's the first thing you do when you meet people? You go,
Um, I smile too. I would smile,
yeah.
greet people, and then I'm a very curious and inquisitive person, so I'd probably ask something about them. Okay, how y'all doing right now? Something.
So you're gonna start your speaking engagements with
with a
what?
question. Got it.
Next.
How you greet people.
I say I'm pretty awkward.
Own it.
I am. But
So what's the awkwardness?
uh, I was gonna give you like at work type of example where awkwardness, I just say it just depends on the person or how I wanna approach a person. So the awkwardness would be like, and when I say awkward, it's not like a bad thing. It's just like my personal way. So let's say about approach somebody like just like
Yeah.
I'm teaching myself something I overcame is initiation. I never wanted to initiate a conversation with anybody. Like, that can intrude on their bubble. But like now I have to try to meet them halfway in my own way. So I'd be like, they okay with like with them. Then I'd be like, okay, like how are you? Follow with a question. So me is like a slight initiate depending on the person. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, like it, but like just hey, and then it'd be like not verbally, but I'd be like this or like what's up, and then follow with a question. So that's like my awkwardness to it. Like
Yeah.
okay, like yeah, just like that. It's
So you're trying to, and I just want to say that that's not unusual. That's not awkward. That's normal. Because a lot of people are trying to figure people out. They're trying to size them up, all the things. But one of the things that we can relax into is that when we think we don't have to, these aren't like, it's not a tiger coming after you. There's no like threat, right? And when we can normalize the fact that this is a feeling good, this is person that are just like me. Like, how are you gonna greet people? Y'all, she works at this place called Planet Fitness. How do you greet people when they come to you at Planet Fitness?
it's pretty much the same.
Okay,
Welcome
she
in.
consistent.
Welcome in.
Mm.
Welcome in.
No, I have more energy. Obviously, it's like and they come. It's just you got to read the people. Some people they don't speak back. Like that's not who they are. So it's just like I meet.
Does that stop you from speaking?
It don't stop the no. Emphasis. And I emphasis on that. I just like they don't have to say nothing back to me for me to be vocal and do what I need to do. Cause some people, I hate use the word depend, but like they depend on that interaction. And they, so I'm always like, hello, good morning. Like, so yes, I do push myself more at Planet Fitness. But for the people that don't like, it's some people that don't like all that. I was like, yeah, like a little bit more gradual, like take it back a little bit. I was like, have a good one. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it really just
Okay, but that's some good stuff. That's good juju. So let's take it to a speaking engagement. All right. Let's take that to a speaking. Again, if you've been following along with Rise 53, our first week was speak one to yourself. Okay. So speaking in public to me is a mirror reflection of how you speak to yourself. And then second week was speak one to one. Third week, this was just last week, we were talking about speak one to a few, having meetings. Now we're talking about speaking one to public because I believe everything builds on it. Okay. And so what you just said was, I gauge the room. I like to see what's going on. I could, I'm kind of feeling that's a good quality as a speaker because one of the things that we're not talking about, by the way, giving a talk where you don't engage with people. Those are the worst things ever. Don't you agree? Because they just sitting there like, in. So you're kind of looking at people going, and this is what I do as a speaker. I come in, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 and I kind of read the room. I then pick up on the people that are the engagers. You know how you said those some people just don't want to? I don't pay attention to them when I'm talking. Okay. When I'm talking, I'm paying attention to the people that are smiling. Right. And if there's no one smiling, then I find a spot in the room where I go like this. Right. Because guess what? Because no one responds to you and they don't engage with you at the beginning, doesn't mean that your talk is bad or that you should lessen your energy. You might shift it a bit to kinda say some things, you feel me? Because that's not some people see that as a direct reflection, "Oh, I'm doing something wrong. Am I saying right?" You feel me? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
I would ask, what would you say to, because I think a little bit ago when we were talking about like the fear.
Mhm.
So what would you say to those people who like, what gets you to kind of override that fear?
Yeah.
I know you said practice.
Well, first of all, you're putting other people on a pedestal. So whenever you think that someone has something power over you. You don't understand that you're giving your power away. Whenever you believe there's fear in speaking in public, you've given your power away. So, what I want you to do is to own it. I want you to understand that you are worthy in being able to speak to a few friends that you like, or pretend that those few friends that you like are 100 of your friends in the audience. And when you do that, what it is, you say, I am so capable of just being me. Now, the problem is a lot of people they're not comfortable with themselves. We're not comfortable with just kind of like how I just go, you know what I mean? Because now people would say, that's not professional, right? People have narratives in their head. You have a narrative in your head that you believe that I have to perform, which is what we're talking about in this. You don't have to perform. What if you just said, I can just be me and then I can speak? And because I have something to say, I'm just going to say it the way that I say it. If I do like this, if I want to say they do, because not they is, I don't have to have perfect grammar. I don't have to have perfect speech. I don't have to look a certain way. Guess what we did when I said we're going to do this video? Guess what we did? Sat down. Now, one person went to the mirror, took a look to see if they had anything in their teeth. All right. We didn't need to try and fix our hair. We just sat down.
Right, I don't have to say it.
I don't, if you want
I
to
need to check.
just want to give a little shout out to my girl Alina Dunbar and Salon Ice for hooking our sister up. Do you see this? Okay. This is my hair. You know what I'm saying? So, like, performance is one thing, embodiment of your spirit and giving it to other people is another. There's a comfortability. Now, I'm not saying like a TEDx talk is very regimented at 17 minutes. You do want to practice, right? But I think the more that you practice being yourself in front of other people and mitigating this idea that other people have some sort of authority over you, understanding that I can talk to a group of people and I could just be myself and then share with people and have a flow about your authenticity,
Mhm.
that's the issue. People haven't practiced that. We've been told to perform. We've been told to make certain our makeup is perfect, our hair is perfect, our nails look good. You know, look, Unaya's nails look good.
Except for one.
She
That
did
don't
break a
look
nail,
hard.
but she might go like this. That's not my middle finger, by the way. So anyways,
Okay, so follow-up question.
you know I'm having too much fun.
And Hallie, you can probably chip in on answering this too a little bit because I feel like there's extremes to this when it comes to speaking.
Yeah.
And I feel like as an outsider looking at you, you're on like this extreme
Mhm.
where it's like,
She's
you know,
clever.
I mean, Diana gonna talk to whoever, whenever, it doesn't matter. Can't tell her nothing. You know what I mean? You can tell her something, but you know what I mean. Like that's that extreme. People who are super comfortable, like they do this. They're super outgoing. And then you have this other extreme where it's like,
What'd you say?
um, and how you've grown crazy. So I don't even know if I would, but there, the other extreme that is just so like, this is literally death. You asking me to go on this stage and speak. And then there's like people who fall in the middle, but what like practical tips would you give to someone that's on that other extreme?
Well, you give some tips because you've been practicing.
Oh yeah, I spoke a couple times with Diana conference. Last actually. Yeah. That was great. Like my second time speaking in front of an audience. Oh, I'm gonna call y'all. So I just say the biggest thing. Like, what? You reiterate your question one more time.
So if Diana's on one extreme and then other people are on the other one who are just very like stuck in that fear when it comes to public speaking and like it's like almost like something is captivating your body when someone tells you that you have to speak. What practical like tips? Like it's good to like hear, okay, you gotta get over the fear, you gotta practice, but like what actual things do you have to tell yourself and do to be able to like go on a stage and speak?
Okay, so I can only speak from personal experience because the first thing I said to me was just like nervousness.
Mhm.
I would say like having something that keeps you grounded personally. Like we could say practice all day, we could say this and that, but when you get up on that stage, you're up there. And there's no time to can I practice this out in front of the audience? You have to have stuff that you implemented, which is practice that can keep you secure. Which is my example would be like a joke. Like, that comforts me, they get me, cause like, don't nobody have the humor that I have in my head. I am battling my critique that I have in my I think of my person in my head as a person. So, okay, let me get my person in a battle. What do I mean by battle? My critique, the one that's telling me everything I'm not, and then my goofy person that's telling me everything that I am. And that joke, that thing in my head, the audience, they can't tell me, or the audience or that critique, they can't tell me anything because I already have this secureness in my head. So to answer your question, a little joke or a little positive affirmation that's already been established, something I did practice, because practice is a huge thing. So I would say a joke. I know you're on stage, so there's not a lot of things that you could have that it gets you you know, that you can stem from. But if you I mean, you said authenticity. Like, if it's me, say the joke don't work. I don't know, let me go get me something I can stem on in the stage and not introduce it to the crowd. Like,
Mhm.
if if I get off topic and I get lost in my words, I'll tell them like, "Oh, I'm just sorry, y'all. Like, this is my little STEM gadget. Let me get back to the topic.
Yeah.
Have you seen me playing with this?" Like, I don't know, being authentic. That's what I think of being authentic is I'm gonna present to you everything that I have, and just in my way. Just like how I would say it in the mirror to myself, I am saying it to you. Like you said, there's no perfection. There's nothing that's perfect. So to answer your question, a little joke, something to stem people that's like nervous on the opposite side of the spectrum. To get more like comfortable with it, you have to figure out ways that's unique to you, and
Right.
everybody way is different. So a joke or something to stem may not work for you, but like there's so many things that is yet to be discovered. That's why people come up with different methods. So it's a lot that goes into it. But personally, I'm a joke that I've been hanging on to for.
It really does help with, having those. It's like for me, when I was running track, I had little steps that I would do before I would get to do my triple jump. Like, you would see me and there was just these things that I would do. It's no different, right? What you would do when you get on the basketball court or before you pump yourself up to lift a weight, there's steps that you do. And your brain, because you're training your brain to understand you're not in fight or flight. That's really what you're trying to do, and you're trying to get those endorphins. Do I ever feel like I'm kind of feeling all up in my I have those times, especially I went through training. As a moot court, I did in a law school, but I also had the benefit, and I always say I had the benefit of being number 6 of 7 in my family. So I got to see my 5 older sisters just, I got to tell them, I was just like, "Oh, it doesn't even matter what I do. People gonna talk about me." You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just do it, right? But that was years upon years upon years of training. Then I translated that to corporate. So I really do know, though, that I work with a lot of people who are very shy. In fact, we have an individual, Charlene Katzner, who's a part of our Rise 53. She's an ambassador. She calls herself the quiet changemaker. So you don't have to be loud. In fact, people that talk too much are annoying, right? Because they like to just hear themselves talk. That's not what we're trying to go for. Now, when I say TEDx talk, we do have to know that there is a rhythm and a pace that you want to get because TEDx is only a 17 minutes. Here, we're just having a dialogue, we're just having a conversation, and it's free flowing. And that's good. But when you're actually giving an actual TEDx talk, you do want to have a cadence to it, right? Like a rhythm that you can give to it so that people can follow to the end of the story. So the thing I have a couple questions and then I want to um what story do you believe what or let's just say if you could say there's one or two things that you could talk about and give a message on, what do you think that that would be? We'll start with you.
Okay, let me think for a second.
Anything.
Yeah. Um, could go anyway. Like I said, I'm a very like can't be put into a box type of person. As in like I have a lot of different passions in different areas and I'm a deep thinker, so that helps with that. But I would probably say something along the lines of faith or just mindset and growth and how we speak to ourselves, how we speak about things. I've always grown up with my mama, who is very big on the power of your tongue, and that has stuck with me from a very young age. I highly knows because I used to tell her when we was hooping and everything that, like, there was a period of time, I don't know if this is even still a thing, where everybody was used to be like, "Oh, I'm dead," like, when something was funny. I said that, my mom said, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" Like, would tear me up. She said, "We not saying that." She said, "I'm alive, so I'll be with my friends hanging out, and we laughing and stuff. There's a joke," and I'm like, "I'm alive." Like, that is not what people say. But I was saying it because I believe my mom, and I know it's real, and I know it to be true, and you see it in life and just in different people because everything that you say has power, and it even just it starts within your mind and, like, your belief system. So I would probably speak on that because it's deep, it's funny because I've told Hallie some stories. I mean, there was a moment and my brother has asthma, and I don't know what was happening, but he was just saying, like, "Oh, it's like I got asthma, whatever," and my mom was like, "Trini, like, don't say that," like, whatever, and my dad was like, "Yolanda, the kid's got asthma, like, he needs his inhaler," like, there's limits to it, don't ever go all the way around, but yeah, I'd probably speak on that.
Okay, first of all, I wanna share I want you to say, okay, what was it that made that little talk right there powerful? She remembered a story. She made us laugh, made us think. But actually, that's such a great thing to add into a speaking engagement. So if I were you, I'd start off a speaking engagement. Hey, how y'all doing? Anybody ever have a mama that say that their words are powerful? Like you ain't gonna say you're dead? And just start off your speaking engagement like that. It's called a hook. Ooh, no, she didn't. Okay, that's exactly what we're gonna be getting into with our Rise 53 Inner Circle. Okay, message that this one is over here gonna do.
Trying to make it a little bit more concise.
Okay, well,
Alright,
you don't have to make it concise.
so it intertwines perfectly with what Jan just said, just like the power of the sun. Major, major impact on my life. That's just a lot to talk about, but I'll say just if I was to talk to someone, it'd probably be embracing your light. There was a time in my life that I was convinced I had, like, nothing left within me, like, so convinced. So just like, how would I explain it? Just like it doesn't matter what you're going through, what season you're in, you always have something within you. Like, you're blessed to continue to wake up each and every day. Like, to me, that's just being a chosen person. And just like, I don't know, like life, we all have our own unique place we're at. And it just like, I just feel like, it's so hard to explain because it's like so broad at the same time. Uh,
Just give us an example of how you saw that in your life, maybe in the last one.
okay. It was so much. Like, it's so much. Okay. Mm, example. Uh, I would say convincing myself that each and every day, like, I had no purpose, but yet I still showed up. I was like, "That's not me." Everybody used to ask me, they used to be like, "Hallie, how did you make it to, practice today? You didn't sleep, you didn't do this and that." I don't know. But back then, it was just like, deep down, I do know there's this little fighting urge within me. I mean, I never acknowledged it that I had something in there that was worth fighting for. So, like, what I'm trying to take to the other person is, like, if you continue to get up, if you continue to, like, choose life, continue to be there for yourself, that is something worth fighting for, even if it's nothing. Like, it's so hard to say it. So,
Mhm.
embracing your light basically intertwines, like, the mental health. I'm just saying, like, it's always that fighting edge that you have. It don't make sense in my head, it makes sense right now, but
It
just that.
makes sense.
So, yeah, just that. Embrace your light. Like,
Yeah.
it's something in there. Like, you still living life, you still here, all that. I couldn't.
So when you think about those kinds of things, like you say, okay, this is embracing my life. For example, I was walking with my friend the other day and she was telling me that she was not tired. She was tired all the time. And she asked me about how do I just get up and just go do it? I just know there's something in me that tells me to keep going. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like, that's really and when you think about it, because what happens is sometimes we try to make it more than what it is. A story is a story, and you j are a storyteller. So you just share examples of your friends, of something that happened the other day, something that struck you. You might think it's meaningless, like small, but it's amazing because it makes people think. So embracing your light is something that a lot of people do and when don't do. And then when you do it, which actually is a sign over there that says, don't let anyone dim your light. Did y'all see the sign over there? I don't know if you saw the sign. But anyways, I saw the sign. I saw the sign. Anyways, I think that this is powerful because just even in this last 25 minutes, we were able to kind of carve out how I could start the talk, how I could share a story, what are the unique things about me that make me do the things that I do? That is delivering a great talk. Now, I will tell you that when I first started speaking publicly, which I didn't do until way after law school, I consider speaking publicly was because I was in law school and I was doing this thing called moot court. It's where you do oral advocacy. People ask you questions and you answer them based upon the topic that you have. Well, there were a couple things I always did all the time. I'd use my hands all the time, right? And I learned how to be able to talk. Learned how to not be a distraction, but I still use my hand. And if you notice things about me, you will notice that when someone's talking, I will go like this and I will be conscious of where I'm putting my hands because I want a very relaxed nature with my hands. But that was only after practice. The first time I did an actual public talk, I did no notes. I just got up and I talked. And then I just shared stories, and then I sat down and I said and then I had a standing ovation. I go, "For what?" You know what I mean? Well, that's just because I was just being me. And so what I wanna say is when she came on my stage, when Holly came on my stage at the All Rise Live Global Summit, that's exactly what you did. You shared a story, and you just talked, and it was so effective, and people were so blown away by your ease by which you deliver the talk. It's really not getting in your own head, not getting in your own way. And that is what I wanted to share with you all today because I think that doing this is powerful. Um, okay. The other thing that I have in here is when we're talking about speaking, it's like thinking, what do I want the people that I'm speaking to do and feel? So, if you want your audience to feel a sense of joy or feel a sense of hope or discipline or of gratitude, you have to exude that in your talk. So I always think, okay, what's the end game? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to deliver? And I think that will help you in your talks. So, have you ever thought about that in the context of speaking to people, or have you ever even gotten that far when it comes to speaking to groups or audiences? Have you ever put in your mind to think about that? And then now that you know that, what do you think that would do you think that that would help you?
I'll let you start her.
Yeah.
No, wait. Can you say the question one more time?
So, have you ever thought when speaking to someone what it is that you want them to feel?
How I want them to feel? Yeah, like, I don't necessarily know if it's even feeling.
One to one.
Uh, I wanna make people feel as if they learned something, and I know I can't teach everybody. Like, just like a fun fact. I'm big on, like, fun facts, stuff like that, and feel like a laugh, like, comical, like, I don't know, I don't intentionally make people laugh. The times I've spoken, like, at your conference, it was a lot of chokers in the crowd, I'm not gonna lie. I do as a story tell. I promise you, I don't try to, but it makes me feel good at first. Cause that's when I first started, like, talking publicly, I'm just like, "What they laughing?" I mean, I didn't care as much, but I'm like, "Was that funny?" But, like, when I talked at another event with people around my age, what I was speaking about, it was some serious stuff, and I think my examples made them laugh. So if I can, if we can joke or we could, learn something. I remember when I was a little girl, every time I learned something, I was like, "Mom, guess what I learned today?" And she'll laugh at my delivery of what I said, because 'cause I'm like, "I learned this."
Yeah.
So, like, I just personally, when I learn something, I just feel so much thrill. I feel happy because 'cause I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know this, now I know this." So if I can get that same feeling towards somebody else,
Yeah.
whether they learn something or they can laugh, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't, it's cool too, but,
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. Like, I want you to understand there is something about you that you want to deliver, no matter what kind of talk it is. For me, it is always going to be filled with a lot of laughter and lightness and energy. That is the one thing, and that's the start. I started seeing that on my speaking engagements. Well, she has a lot of energy. Or she has a lot of, I do, don't I? Well, that's what I want to deliver. So, what about you?
Um, I would say likewise, I love to laugh, so of course we gotta laugh. And then maybe just like I want you to feel inspired for sure, and then hope. So I think that life is hard, life be lifing, but hope is such a powerful thing. Um, and when you said that, when you asked the question, it makes me think of this quote, which I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't tell you the quote exactly where it was from or how they said it, but it was talking about leadership and great leaders. And it said something along the lines of like, great leaders, when they leave a room, don't want you to feel good about them and like, oh, that was such a great leader. It was more so like when they leave a room, they make you feel better about yourself, like in who you are. That's what I would want to leave with any group or any people that I'm talking to.
Powerful, right? That sounds like Zig Ziglar. I wonder if that's him. But powerful, right? This is so I hope that you were able to take away some things just from this dialogue because when you think about what it is you want to serve people with, it has to be something that is in you. It's an embodiment, which you were just saying. Well, I don't make people do this. I just do this. That's what makes you good and effective, right? Is that you are it. We are human beings, not human doers. And so the more that we can be who we are and allow people to feel that. Now, let me tell you something. You cannot lie when you are not that because people can feel that. Right? You can tell when someone's pushing or there's a bit of perfectionism or if they're nervous because that comes through more than anything else. But the more that you can settle into being yourself and then being that, but go into it with the intention. I want people to feel a sense of gratitude. I want people to feel a sense of grace. I want people to feel a sense of joy, hope, compassion, love. That is a great way to end our time together. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, and, anything any parting words you wanna give to the audience? Anything you wanna tell them? Take her mic. It sounds nice.
Oh, you go first. Go ahead.
What parting word?
Oh,
Parting minute.
it's just been such an honor to be here on Diana's stage. You know, this is the iconic foyer. Is that what people call it?
Yes,
The foyer.
wait.
So yeah,
Yeah.
tap in to everything that Diana's doing. Subscribe, like. What else have you?
What else do we tell them at the end of the YouTube video?
Just join the fam.
Join the fam.
We join the fans.
Join the fam. Join the
See,
movement.
join the movement because this is the Rise Advocates movement. Rise 53 Inner Circle is what we want you to join. So we're gonna put a link in there. Also, just join our newsletter, right? Tap in, okay? All right, y'all. We'll see you in the next video or in life. Bye. So good.